working out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
You need to go see it. Well, not go see it, but you need to see it. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I got the McClellan Chiropractic chat room up early this morning. Call us up or text us up on the BDST text line 543-910-788. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. This is called Feeding the Ducks. We had this one before. It's pretty good. Kind of like that. All right, let's get into the show, shall we? I know, this is pretty disappointing when you log on and see Selma standing there. I get it. It's the way I feel every morning when I roll over and look at her. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. David Mabry is going to join us. He is the gentleman you see a lot if you pay attention to the Virginia football legends and all the great high school football highlights. David's going to join us. And then Dwight Vick. Good show today. And I have some news. I have some nuggets today. From the stiff shirts at the Mary Washington Inn in Abington to the Dirty Dancing Gang, high atop Mountain Lake Hotel, and now to the skinny-clad ladies in bikinis in Palm Coast. BDST is on the air. Good morning, Morris. Morning, David. Good morning, Prometheus. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Thank you, Prometheus. That means a lot. Good morning, Paul. How's everybody doing in chat? So it's confirmed the 25th is going to be our fan fest. What do you want to call it? Fan session. And we'll rotate people in and out. We'll have chat go on. You can get up to 6 people on the screen here. So good morning, Opal. How are you? Peepettes always get special treatment. So we'll do that on the 25th. Not this week, but next week. So make plans, and we'll promote it next week as well. A little tired this morning. I had late night soccer broadcast in the Big South. Big win for Radford. They're now 5-0 in the league over their rival High Point. 2-1 last night. So hit us up and chat. And I have 2 nuggets to share, and I'll get to momentarily. Let's see how it changed. See that right there? I don't like that. Hang on. Sometimes the studio, will not go back to what it's supposed to be. There we go. It changes things when you don't want it to. But something that doesn't change, Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios here in Ryder, 540-200-8294 at familyfencing.com. Hit them up. Thanks to Marconi McClellan Chiropractic Chat Line. Hit us up there in the chat room, as you always do. Professional Door Incorporated Tech Sideline. I've already mentioned them, 540-391-0788. Travis Williams and Company, 38 years in business. Garage doors. A couple of you said you had broken garage doors. There's nobody else to call. Don't even think about it. Just call Travis. Get it done. Get it done today. National Bank member FDIC, thanks to Larry Ramsey. Exclusive banking partner of BDST. The attorney Ryan Pryor, BDST fan question of the week. It tailed off a little yesterday, but the majority of you still want James Franklin to be the head football coach. Little River Heating and Air, 540-553-2971. We're presented every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. And we need to have Jonathan Sweet on at least every other week. I mean, that guy fires you up, man. That guy fires you up. Talk about all the things they're doing. We talked about recycling. We talked about all the things they're bringing in. They are unafraid. Unabashed. Unabashed. Go get your next vehicle at Harvey's GM, by the way. Call Lawson's Mobile Home Supply if you have plumbing, doors, windows needs, 381-8011, and go bowl at the NRV Super Bowl, for God's sakes. 25 years in business. Boogie Bowling's coming up. And go see them. It's always a lot of fun. 382-5525. There's an arcade for the kids. I think that's everybody. How's everybody doing in chat this morning? All right, so 2 nuggets that I received yesterday. And again, I do not randomly share things until I vet them a little bit because I don't want to be that guy. It's nothing major on the tech front, but there is something major on the coaching front that could be building. I have a source, and I've said this back during the radio show. I'm friends with somebody who's pretty high up the hierarchy. Pretty high up the hierarchy. Easy for me to say. At a Big Ten school. And I speak with him every other week or so. We check in and just kind of get, updated. And he actually reached out to me because there were 2 things that he had. And one was and I said this is great timing. And I promise you this isn't to support what I said yesterday when I said Tech fan take a lot of solace in the fact that Bruce Arians and Bud Foster are part of this committee. This source told me that they are getting inroads to agents and to coaches who want to hear what they have to say because they are Bruce Arians and Bud Foster. So in other words, even though this committee hasn't gotten together yet, Bill Ross said that yesterday. They're spread out all over the country. They don't need to be together. Bruce Arians and Bud Foster have so much respect throughout the industry that people want to talk to them. I was told that yesterday. I mean, I think it's common sense, but it's nice to hear somebody in one of the power leagues say that those guys are getting around, is what he said. There's not inactivity going on because we don't hear any news. Okay? And when I hear that yesterday, I think, well, now it makes a little more sense. I know they were doing to do the NDAs anyway. But now, okay. So maybe my hypothesis was right. Maybe there is more going on that is constantly building. So that's good news. Tech fan, relax. Remember when Aaron Rodgers did the old, just relax, relax. Credibility is coming not from Whit Babcock, but coming from Bruce Arians and Bud Foster. Immense respect for those 2 individuals. So, therefore, they're getting what they want in terms of being able to vet coaches. So that's the first bit of news. The second bit of news doesn't involve Tech other than this was a name that many people were clamoring for before James Franklin became available. And I was told was not interested in leaving his current job, but things have changed because a certain job has opened up. This source said, do not be surprised if all of a sudden you hear Dan Mullen, the current head coach at UNLV, as the next head coach in Happy Valley. Dan Mullen is a Northeastern guy. He was born in New Hampshire, I think. And even though he has no interest in leaving Vegas, if certain jobs open, things change. Penn State is a certain job that's open for Dan Mullen. So we will keep an eye on that. Bill Ross said it yesterday, and he's 100% correct. And I brought this up to my source yesterday, and he reiterated it. Penn State has got a very narrow net. He said he's heard they're seriously only going to consider 3 or 4 candidates. Just exactly what Bill said. Exactly. I think that Roth guy's pretty smart. But watch the news and watch the rumor mill and Dan Mullen in Penn State. And I think that would be a terrific hire for them. UNLV is undefeated, right? Ranked and undefeated. Is that correct? They're pretty good. Pretty good. So that's the 2 nuggets I had. It was good to be supported in my hypotheses that the Arians-Foster combo is making a lot of headway in terms of communicating, vetting, spreading the wide net. And I think the addition of Bruce Arians has really propelled the respect factor for the Virginia Tech job search. He says Tech has an advantage just because of those 2 guys. Is what exact words. He would not mind. He's probably watching. I told him to watch the show. Exact words. Because of Bruce Arians and Bud Foster, Virginia Tech's getting tons more respect for their opening than maybe more schools. And he said this, and he didn't mean this, but he goes, in terms of more schools with their level of hierarchy in terms of where these jobs are coming open. That should make you feel really good. Don't worry about the rest of the committee is basically what the message I took out of it. As long as you have Arians and Foster combo, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, anyway, and all that means is that they're able to have conversations that maybe, well, not maybe, that Tech would not be having if they weren't part of the committee, because they can't even get together with the committee. But he said Dan Mullen to Penn State's going to start picking up steam. So we'll, and I believe the current Purdue head coach has the same agent as Dan Mullen. So something like that. So there's some Big Ten coaches that are connected. So that word kind of gets around. There's 3 or 4 coaches in the Big Ten that have the same. Wayne says, I have a feeling Bruce Arians expects excellence not only from himself, but from the next coaching prospect. Correct. Now, he didn't mention Eddie. He mentioned those 2. I'm sure it doesn't hurt to have Eddie. But Eddie's never been experienced in anything like that before. But it makes me feel good because we were on it yesterday. I was already saying that I don't know why everybody's so worried. Don't you trust Bud Foster and Bruce Arians? I sure as hell do. But wouldn't the CEO of Victoria's Secret be able to make the sexy pick? That has value. Yeah. But there are jobs that are valued. The Penn State job is extremely valued. There's no question the Penn State job is the number 1 job on the market right now. It's not even close. Despite what's going on there, despite what's happened as well. And I sent it to you. If you saw the Todd McShay rant yesterday about James Franklin, I've been saying this here, and everybody's just saying, oh, my God, Todd, you got to get James Franklin because look at the record. Folks, there are reasons why Penn State ate $50 million to get his ass out of there. Todd McShay went off on those reasons. He's very difficult to work with. It's all about him. It's very dysfunctional. You want that in Blacksburg with the current dysfunction that's going on? Everybody gets blinded by the record, the fact they were in the playoff last year. Why in the world would a place like Penn State, when dollars are maximized and dollars are so valuable, eat $50 million to send him away gladly? Go look at the message boards at Penn State. I have. Do you see fans, maybe one or two, upset that they got rid of James Franklin? No. Something else is going on. I told you that things were going to start coming out. I'm not accusing him of anything other than being who he is. This isn't about some deep, dark scandal. This is just about an untenable situation. And the new AD at Penn State, the administration was like, we can't do this anymore. 50 million. Actions speak louder than words, right? They ate $50 million in buyout. All we've heard about leading up to the portal and to revenue sharing and to all these TV contracts is how money is so tight. How in the world are these departments going to have any money to do business? How are they going to make money? How are they going to pay the athletes? We're going to have to drop programs out of major schools, right? Because you can't afford it anymore. And here's Penn State in the freaking Big Ten saying, 50 million? That's fine. And yet that's the guy that over 70% of you want to run to Blacksburg. Be careful what you wish for. Let's see if any other schools line up. I don't know whether they will or not, but let's hear about rumors about schools that might be actively pursuing James Franklin. Let's just see. 50 million. You were in the playoff last year. He was in the playoff. See ya. That should be an enormous red flag. That's all I'm saying. Sure, maybe he would come to Blacksburg. Maybe he would be humbled. I doubt it. Go watch the Todd McShay rant. He knows it very well. Todd McShay is a guy who got tired of ESPN and left. Thank God he's got a great podcast now. He knows about these places. He knows. He has contacts. He's not making stuff up. I'm just amazed that so many people want to ignore what. Why, we may never know, but the what. The what is Penn State's paying $50 million to get rid of that guy, which means your highest octane, multi-million, billion-dollar people were all on board to buy him out, to get him out of there. And the AD was instructed, let's do it. Let's go. Correct. Let me put that graphic up again. Thanks, Hokies Rock. In case people forget, on top of what McShay was saying about Franklin, here it is. This is what Hokies Rock's talking about. 1-15 against the top 5, 4-21 against the top 10, 15-30 against the top 25. Now, Coach Omasian probably wouldn't care. He's going to talk about this on Monday, but I was having a great conversation with Phil Omasian. He said, I'll tell you what, in that tone that he uses, if you're going to talk to James Franklin before you do anything, you go to his lawyer and you say, I don't want to talk. What did Coach say? I don't want to have the interview that he had with Penn State. I want to have the James Franklin interview when he was trying to get the job at Vanderbilt. And I thought that was a hell of a point. Don't get the guy who has evolved into what he is now. Let's go back and see if you can find that guy. It's an analogy. Who was hungry, who was humbled when he wanted the Vanderbilt job. I don't know whether that guy exists anymore. Penn State apparently doesn't think so. So on top of that, this is why he was let go. I'm shocked that so many people want to ignore this on top of other things. None of those marks would be acceptable in Blacksburg. They've already had to deal with, the top two, right? Not beating ranked teams, not beating a top 25 team. I mean, it is what it is. So keep an eye on Dan Mullen and Penn State rumors. We'll see. That would be a job that Vegas would no longer look as attractive probably for. And he's a New Hampshire boy. Can't completely take the Northeast out of somebody, right? Dan Mullen would be a great fit for Penn State. Just leave Freeman alone, says Joseph, the Irish fan. Paul says, to me, Penn State has a huge black eye on the program after all the scandals, cover-up, and removal of their legend. I think they're beyond it. It'll never go away, Paul. And I will credit Franklin for that and what they were able to come out of. There were a lot of people who thought they'd never be competitive over maybe a 10 or 20-year span. So they became a lot more competitive, because of the money and because of being able to go out and get players. But you're right, that'll never leave. That's always going to be part of their legacy. I mean, it almost cost them their program. They almost got the death penalty back when the NCAA pretended it still had power. Does Franklin have any co-defensive coordinators available for the job? Seems like that could work, right? On top of all that, Virginia Tech's the school that fired his pupil, if you will. So anyway, that's my two nuggets from yesterday. You can treat them and respond to them however you want. But again, I don't pass along many things that I hear because a lot of it I don't substantiate. I just kind of let it roll out. But when I have things from my source like yesterday, I'm going to share it with you, just like I shared the Ryan Silverfield information. When Tech announces their next coach, most fans will say who, just like last time. I think we're going to know. I think this coach he's going to be, first of all, he's going to be a head coach. So we're going to know who he is. We're going to know who he is. Now, that may not satisfy many Tech fans going in, but I think you're going to have to look at the reality of where the Tech job is going to end up on the hierarchy of things, because there are going to be a lot more jobs that become available. There are going to be a lot of coaches waiting to see which jobs come available. Joseph says he thinks Franklin's going to come back as a defensive coordinator. I think he's going to go into TV. He has no financial incentive. His ego has taken a massive blow. I think he's going to be on TV and he'll pontificate for a while. And then he's going to get back into coaching. We shall see. There's no question, Paul, and I mentioned this. You're exactly right. Brent Pry brought everything he learned from James Franklin into Blacksburg. When he was on our radio show, he talked about the influence of James Franklin. He was with him at Vanderbilt. He was with him at Penn State. I don't know. I think more and more things are going to come out about what happened there. Just like with McShay kind of giving us some insight. Now that may have opened up the the gates, the floodgates. And I do question that myself, Prometheus. You know, we had people, you know, coming on the show that have respect saying the tech job's by far and away the best and blah. It's in a much better place now because of the money that's been approved. But there's no doubt that in my mind, and Prometheus, I think you're exactly right. What's going on with the situation with the AD, even though they did finally backtrack and come to their senses about not having a GM before the coach. It was almost like pulling teeth before they understood. And finally, they got feedback from agents, is what I was told. And I think that's what David Teal and Burnett both said here, that agents got back to them and said, no. You have the GM in place. What are you doing? I told you that before. My coaching source said there's not a coach with the options who would even consider Virginia Tech if the GM were already hired and he didn't know them. And then Tech finally got that right. But this whole thing with Witt, no matter how it looks, no matter how it's being spun, you're right. It looks dysfunctional. And I think there's a lot of questions that any coach who seriously wants the job is going to have to ask. One in 15 in top 5. Bryce said, hold my beer, James. So I do think that part is a detriment. As much as having Bruce Arians and Bud Foster leading the search, coaches are going to be very careful about asking more questions about, okay, so what exactly is going on with your AD? Who am I going to answer to? I'm going to bring in the GM, so I'm not answering to him. Am I going to answer directly to the president? Am I going to have a football AD? What are we doing? We don't know, right? Everybody has shut it down. Wayne says, I think being in the ACC with immediate chance to turn around like Georgia Tech and Duke is attractive. Correct. The AD dysfunction is a concern. Correct. And everybody's clamoring for Shane Beamer. Make that make sense to me, too. Shane Beamer better win Saturday night. He better win Saturday night. They should win. Oklahoma's reeling after Texas punched him in the mouth. Other than the name, and again, why you want to continue to hang on to that, he's already said he didn't want to follow in his dad's legacy. Do you really think, I mean, just deep down, forget the last name, do you really believe Shane Beamer is a program solver? When you watch his teams play, do you think, yeah, there's a guy who can get things done? I'm just asking the question. They were the number 13 ranked team in the country this year. Highest preseason ranking in, what did I say, 20-some years? They've looked like anything but a top 25 team from the opening snap against Virginia Tech on that Sunday, opening weekend. Now they're floundering at 500. They have a must-win game. He's coached them into a must-win game in 7 contests. If his name was Shane Mullins, no one would be saying they wanted him in Blacksburg. You got to let that go. It's time for a new thing to come in and be done the right way, not the way the new thing was forced and the disrespect that was shown to Coach Beamer, Bud Foster, and all those coaches when Witt came on with Justin Fuente. That was not the way to go about moving in a different direction. There was nothing but disrespect shown. So much so that, let's do the 25 jersey. The way they handled Bud Foster, was disgusting. Bud Foster deserved a hell of a lot more than that. Tried to hang on. I don't know. But I do believe that the situation with the AD is still going to be a setback. Prometheus is on to something. Because people don't want to just come to a program because it has money. They want to know, all right, so who am I answering to here? What am I doing here? If he has nothing to do with it, you're going to bring in a brand new AD to this position with me, and that's going to be my boss? Or am I calling the president every Sunday after a game? Hey, what'd you think? See, Tech has created this on their own. Nobody forced them to. They've done this on their own, to themselves. I don't know about his buyout, Morris, completely. I know that he has to be looking for work, either in coaching or broadcasting, to receive the buyout. I don't know. I haven't looked at the fine print because I don't believe he's a viable candidate in Blacksburg, so I haven't really looked at it. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that. Let's see. Wayne just said something. Hang on. Leave it to Wayne, my information provider here. So if he lands a new job, there's some offset language in there. So it's $50 million in buyout money. See how much that would diminish to here. Front Office Sports got his contract. It says, should coach obtain such applicable employment prior to the date this contract would otherwise expire, the university's obligation to make payments to coach will be offset by the total compensation earned by coach from such applicable new position. So that maybe gives more credence to the fact he's going to get into TV instead of landing a multi-million-dollar coaching gig, right? He won't make nearly as much in TV than he would as a head coach. Patrick Kraft, the AD, when asked about all this, said, I like this. This is an athletics issue. It's not an institutions issue. We in athletics, we're going to cover all the costs. Next question. So, again, we don't know the motivations of James Franklin in any way, shape, or form. We don't know what he wants to do, first and foremost. Thanks. I got that, Wayne. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, all right, that adds another layer to what his motivation may be, right? Okay, he's going to go, okay, let me think about this. Do I really want to go after it and have the buyout reduced? That kind of tells me he's definitely going to take some time off. Right? He's getting $50 million. Why would he go somewhere and immediately cancel out the buyout? There's got to be some burnout there for him, unless he just so eagerly wants to get back into it. But what job out there is going to replace Penn State? There's only 3 or 4 jobs across the country that share that same blue blood legacy as Penn State. None that are available right now. Oh, yeah, wherever he goes, there'll be another buyout because these schools just keep going, okay. Joseph says, did Tech let it be known how much money they had going forward before they closed the door? They didn't specifically, to my knowledge, say what they would pay a coach, Joseph. We did get the total from the board that was approved and how it was going to be distributed within athletics over the next 5 years. But I think they understand they're going to have to pay anywhere from $8 to $12 million a year if they want one of the guys that they're, fishing for. Let's just be honest. That's where it is now. It's ridiculous. The market's insane. It makes no sense, especially when you have these buyouts. But that's what it is. Yeah, Wayne, I'm with you. After reading that, if I'm James Franklin, I'm not doing a damn thing. I'll show proof that my agent reached out to talk to other schools. I'll show proof that I reached out to a couple television networks. I mean, go to TV. What money you would make there, which would be a lot less than coaching. You can have that taken out of your buyout. You're still getting the majority of your buyout. So there you go. Morning, Rodney. How are you? That makes it an easy decision if it were me. I wouldn't want to get back into the grind after that. You can get fired from different places and be motivated to get back into it. You get fired from Penn State, and I know he had said that was one of his dream positions. You might need some time. I don't know how much you're going to be ready to give to your next school. There you go, Wayne. It was 8 to 10 million. Yeah, I couldn't begin to sit through that interview, so I didn't watch it. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, just like the movie The Toy, Richard Pryor having to apply for jobs. Right, exactly. Oh, there's ways around to make the clauses in that contract kick in, no question. I'm sure his lawyers, plural, are very apt to that. Rodney, Franklin may get on YouTube and make big money like you. Big money like me? Well, no. He might get on YouTube, but he'll be more successful than I am. Hey, William, good morning. Glad to have found your show again. Count me in as a Chesney guy for now anyway. Thanks for joining. Tell your friends, William, where we are. Subscribe. It's free. Share and like our videos. Good to have you, man. Go watch the Todd McShay rant on James Franklin. Just go. Just go. Go see. And I think you're going to get your answer. And like I say, I don't bring things to the table. I don't bring 95% of the things I hear on the show. Because I can't, unless I can really know that it's what it's supposed to be and it's going on, then I won't. Because I don't want to be I'm not going to be a rumor echo chamber. I hate that. I cannot stand that. That's why I hate these X accounts. Here comes the latest. Here's what we're hearing. You're not hearing a damn thing. You're just making it up. You don't know. Like even my source in the Big Ten, he's not sure exactly who Tech's talking to. He just says, I know that they're being well received wherever they go because of Bruce and Bud. That's the news. Tech is going to get a good head coach, folks. I have no doubt about it. I don't know who it's going to be yet. I haven't honed in on it enough. And I know everybody's desperate, and I get it. This is a huge hire. They're going to get a good football coach. They will. Because of Bruce Arians and Bud Foster, they're going to get a good football coach. I have no doubt about that. Oh, that's very nice, Wayne. You're too kind. Jim, hey, Jim McAllister, you retired guy, you. These head coach agents that have successfully negotiated large buyouts for fired coaches have outsmarted desperate college athletic departments. Stop the insanity. Yeah, I'll never get it. I'll never get how anybody could agree to a $50 million in potential total cost just to fire a guy who couldn't do the job in your eyes. Is that what they were saying? I didn't watch. They said that they were talking about Franklin, how amazing he would be. Well, they're looking at strictly the record, right? And they're going to talk about, recruiting in the state and all that. Before James Franklin became available, it was Matt Campbell. That's kind of dissipated. Good morning, Tootie. How are you? Franklin asked for a contract extension for the summer. Oh, really? Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. That didn't happen. So already there were some people there going, yeah, yeah, we're not going to do that. It feels like there's something, we're going to continue to uncover more layers as to what led to the dismissal there. And again, I'm not at all creating any kind of scandalous innuendo. I don't mean that. I don't think he's a dirty guy in those terms. I don't think there was anything inappropriate. I just think that in terms of relationships, how he treated people, how he thought of himself and his assistants, his players. Has anyone seen a mass exodus of recruits? I saw they lost one running back or something. I haven't paid attention. I haven't. It's Penn State in their situation until it becomes something connected to Blacksburg. I don't really care. So I haven't researched the whole James Franklin thing. I've just been trying to get whatever information I can about where Tech might be. And I was told that they're getting a lot of respect because of the two guys leading the search. And I don't care who else is on the committee. Bud and Bruce are leading the search. And that's the way it should be. Did he talk about himself in the third person? I don't know. I don't know. I know he likes to talk. I think he'd be perfect for ESPN. That would be perfect. But if Penn State's able to navigate and get a guy like Dan Mullen, I think that would be a massive home run. I mean, UNLV, I've watched them actually play a couple of times. They're pretty darn good, man. You tell me what kind of budget UNLV has. That's a pretty good football team. Good morning, Stephen. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow, Georgia Tech and Duke. That's the game of the weekend in the ACC. Well, you have Louisville and Miami on Friday, right? And I know Tech fans going to watch Carolina and Cal. Jordan and I are going to leave a day early. We're going to hit the vineyards up in NorCal, I should say. We're going to check out the berries and the wine. Spend a whole day at a nice bread and breakfast. Then I'm going to rejoin the team and get ready for the Bears. UNC in California late Friday night. Hey, Steven, let me know if there's any updates on the other thing we talked about. Haven't heard anything, so I'm guessing no. I need a Radford hoodie with cutoff sleeves. I do. That would bring the Belichick impersonation more to home, wouldn't it? Maybe a whistle, wear a whistle. Did he wear a whistle all the time? Man, what a bizarre scenario. Okay, thanks, Stephen. What a bizarre scenario in Chapel Hill. But to Stephen's point, Georgia Tech Duke's going to be a lot of fun. When is that game? Hang on. Oh, I didn't send Jen the picks again. Uh-oh. I'll have to do that after the show. Oh, that's a nooner. Duke 1-point favorites. Oh, my goodness. Oh, doctor. Man, I miss Keith Jackson. Miami's 13.5-point favorites over Louisville. Listen to this. You ready for this? California's 10.5-point favorites over Carolina. Maybe that's not such a surprise watching Carolina against power schools. BC's barely favored over UConn by 1.5. Clemson 9.5 over SMU. Virginia 18 over Washington State, who nearly beat Mississippi. Pitt 10.5 at Syracuse, and Florida State's spread has grown to 19. Wow. So if Florida State loses to Stanford as 19-point favorites, Mike Norvell won't have a job on Monday. That's my next prediction. He had an embarrassing ring video of you leaving Selma's. First of all, there'd not be any embarrassment at all if I were leaving Selma Hayek's place. No, I would let the majority of any video content get out there for the public to see if I were hanging out with Selma. The majority. Just a reminder. Just a reminder. Isn't that right, Selma? Yeah, I know. Hi. Good morning. A cheetah thong. Have a blazer on. Cheetah thong. Have on a pair of Crocs. All disheveled looking. No, that'd be fine. I'd be good with it. Because no matter what anybody said to criticize, I'd be going, are you leaving Selma's at 6 o'clock in the morning? No, I am. I win. You know what, Wayne? We should probably just end this now. We should never have Rick and cheetah thong in the same sentence ever again. Yeah, smoking a pipe. Just like Hef. Sunglasses. Maybe a chapeau on. Kind of crooked. Yeah, I could see that. But anyway, good news. Like I said, my guy in the Big Ten is on it. Tech's being well thought of during this search because of those two guys, and watch Dan Mullen to Penn State. Now, would you be coming out of Selma's with strawberries? I don't think Selma would be a strawberry gal. Yeah, I don't think Selma would be a strawberry gal. I don't envision that. She's older. She's a lot more mature. I don't think strawberries would be her jam. I'm not sure what it would be. Be like Cousin Eddie. Are you baseball cap on backward? Yeah, that would work. But see, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter about my appearance, right? Because Selma's right there. I'm walking out of Selma's apartment, and you're not. I'm going back tomorrow. You're not. He's rock. Who cares if you're naked in that ring video? Letting that work at whole profile, putting my face right up there with Selma. Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on. Darn. What's my reward over becoming a viral video? Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Selma. I'm back. Darn. That's a shame. Guess I need to start living my life better. No, I get the impression she'd respect the fact that I'm not a salad guy. Yeah. Strong Latina women understand that their men are carnivores. Andy Bitter going to join us here in about, whenever he decides to. I just sent the link to him. We'll talk all things Tech Sideline. What's he going to do with the week? I know he's going to do it the week off. He's going to watch football. And we'll talk about the things they discussed yesterday. I did not get to watch. It's tough on game day. We had Big South Media Day. By the way, the Highlanders are picked 4th. I already knew that. High Point, Asheville, Longwood, and Radford were picked 4th in the league. One of the new portal players, Jalen Johnson, was named to the first team preseason. That's right. That's true. Joseph, pull out the best Seinfeld. Remember, Jerry, it's not a lie if you believe it. Yeah, I'd never lie about some. But if it happened, I sure as heck wouldn't try to hide it either. Yeah. So, first run of the show. I can never get the dates right, the years, because it's so long ago. 06, 07-ish. We were, at the time, our station was a Fox radio affiliate. And we had contacts. We had Charles Barkley was on with us, and Troy Aikman, and you name it. We had all sorts of people on. And somehow on the list of contacts was Selma Hayek's agent. So I called. And at one point, after about 4 to 6 months of trying, I got a response back in an email asking me more about the show, blah, blah, blah. And I sent back, kind of like what she had become on the show. And we just like her. She didn't have to come on more than 5 minutes just to say hello. You can hype up whatever movie or project she's got, whatever, tried to build us up into, and I never got a response. But there was effort there. I really tried. You know how much I wanted to be able to come on and say, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, coming up later today, Selma Hayek's going to join." Then you would have been wow. Then you could have just ended the show, right? It's like the Beatles used to do. They would do their gig and they'd unplug and they'd run off the stage as quickly as possible. I would have just turned off the mic and taken my headphones and walked out the door. Done. We just had her on. See ya. Good night, everybody. But that didn't happen. Oh, well. Yeah, that'd be the ultimate mic drop. That would have been the ultimate mic drop. But, hey, at least I can say that I talked to her agent, or one of her agents. I don't know how many she has. Probably has a whole – she probably has a whole, fleet. I would say she has a whole fleet. That would be my guess. Some good games in the ACC this week. There's some really good games. We got pretty good college football week, don't we, this week? Friday night is good. Also on Friday, we've got Nebraska and Minnesota. I mean, at least it's a Big Ten game. No, I don't think Selma has man hands. You take that back, Joseph. Just for that, Joseph, just for that, I hope your football coach ends up in Happy Valley. Oh! LSU Vanderbilt. Yes, have some. Georgia Tech and Duke. Washington, who's 5-1 against Michigan. Rematch of the national title game a couple years ago. Baylor, TCU. Man, there's some good games on here. Army, Tulane's fun. Oklahoma State and South Kakalaki. Texas A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Georgia. SMU, Clemson's, and there's some good games on here. We're going to have some fun on Saturday. It's a good week, I guess, if Tech's going to be off, right? Some good games for people to watch. That's a lot of good games to send Jen for picks, which I haven't done yet. Seinfeld reference day. Yeah, so far. Yeah, that kind of takes on a life of its own. But I got to be honest too, Joe. Joseph, if I found out Selma had man hands, okay. I don't think it would bother me. Hey, look, Selma's got man hands. Oh, darn. Better leave. Andy Bitter, David Mabry, and Dwight Vick here on the program today. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Hokies rock. I don't look at her hands, I'll admit. I don't know what you're talking about, Hokies rock. I mean, I think you need to be more specific to what you're talking about. Have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn? Has anyone not seen From Dusk Till Dawn? And the dance scene before she becomes a vampire? Quentin Tarantino was the director of that movie. And there's a scene there where she's doing her dance and she pours wine down her leg. It goes all the way down her leg, and she sticks her toe in his mouth, and he's drinking the wine. And he was a character in the movie. And they talked about the decision for his character to be the one to drink the wine from Selma Hayek's leg. And he says, I may not be the smartest guy, but I am the director. You think I'm letting anybody else have that scene? No, she doesn't have man hands, Hokie Rock. That was something Joseph brought up. She does not have man hands. But I'm just saying it wouldn't matter if she did. But that's a funny quote from Tarantino. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a good movie too. Vampire movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. She would kill Independent Rick. And I would gladly let Independent Rick go by the wayside. That's a great episode. There's so many you can say that about. Kramer was the only one who understood when Elaine wanted to do something with Susan. That's going to be trouble, buddy. What? What do you mean? How did you not know about the two worlds? That George no longer exists if those two worlds collide. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Remember when he walks into the cafe and they're all just sitting there at the table together? 1, 2, 3, and he kind of hits Jerry on the chin. It's great stuff, man. Great stuff. And just walks out, right? I think he just walked out. Because they were all wondering why he didn't sit down, but he couldn't. He couldn't sit down. But I thank all of our wonderful sponsors once again. By the way, go get your next vehicle at Harvey's GM. Go see Brad Harvey and Company. Don't waste time. Check out James Lawson, Mobile Home Supply since 1997, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. Give him a call, 540-381-8011. Boogie Bowling is back Halloween at the NRB Super Bowl. Call them up, 382-5525. It's only $40, and you can have up to 8 people. So that's $5 a dude. or gal. Professional Incorporated, Travis Williams, sponsor of our Tech Sideline, residential and commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business, right across from the New River Community College. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this program. Been with them for 35 years. About 70% of you this week have answered yes to the question, do you want James Franklin to be the next head football coach in Blacksburg? Go see Ryan Pry, the attorney, 701 West Main Street in Radford. Trust and estate planning is his expertise. It's chilly in the morning. We may have frost tomorrow morning. Call Charles Lee, Little River Heating and Air, 540-553-2971. Each and every day, we are presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. And I'm very proud and honored. The place I grew up is our presenting sponsor here of the program. McClellan Chiropractic Chat Room goes crazy every day. It's awesome. Mark Hundley, go see him. If you have a back issue, something might be bothering you, be sure to give him a call. Go see him. He'll fix you. And Family Fencing. They sponsor our studios here in Reiner. You get free quotes. There are payment plan options. Doesn't matter the type of fencing or the materials. Give them a call, 540-200-8294. Hardworking business, new folks. It's awesome. Go see them. And thanks to all of our wonderful sponsor partners. Wouldn't be able, literally, to do the show without you. If there's anybody else out there who would like to help, just give me a call. We work with your budget. Good morning, Jason. How are you? Believe it or not, Rick is not home. Leave a message at the beep. He must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could he be? Believe it or not, Rick's not home. George, I know you're avoiding me. That's when he was trying to avoid the girl he was seeing at the time from breaking up so he could still take her to the ball, I believe. Maybe our next theory on the coaching hire should be, if every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right. That is my all-time favorite episode. We're still waiting to Andy may not be awake. I don't get a read message on the text I sent him either. I wonder if he didn't wake up this morning. That's happened before. That is my all-time favorite. It always will be. The opposite episode is my favorite. So much brilliance in the writing of that episode. And you don't get that anymore from really anything in Hollywood.
Because now it's always about virtue signaling and political messaging. Yay! It's not about entertainment. Can't do that.
No. Any event. So the two nuggets I brought you, James Franklin, not James Franklin, but Dan Mullen could become a very serious candidate very quickly at Penn State, Northeastern guy. And Bruce Arians, Bud Foster, leading the head of the committee snake, if you will, getting a lot of inroads because of who they are. So there you go. That's what I have. I know that's not much, but there are lots of names that I hear. Somebody sent me a link. I don't know what board it was on. I just kind of looked at it, and somebody, I don't even know if it was a tech person or someone else, said, Mark Stoops, done deal to Blacksburg. Done deal. He signed. I'm like, why do people things like that? Why do they put things like that on a board? I mean, what? Is he in trouble at Kentucky? You better believe he is. Would he be able to have a deal in place at another school without that school knowing? No, it's not true. It's a done deal. They've already agreed to terms, I think it said. Oh, really? Okay. No, it's not accurate. Come on, man. Let me send the link again. Maybe I didn't send the link. Of course, AB usually he's got his read messages on, so I usually know when he reads stuff. Look, I know it's early. I don't begrudge anybody for not being able to wake up on time. I'm going to send it one more time just to see. Maybe he gets a little ring-a-dingy on his phone. Mark Stoops with Bob as the GM. It's not going to be Mark Stoops. Sorry to spoil your breaking news, whoever that was. I don't know who it was. Somebody sent it to me. They copied and pasted it, and I was like just shaking my head. Now, I do believe Stoops will probably need a job. We went over their schedule yesterday, the day before. I mean, they don't have a lot of wins left on their schedule. Same thing could be the case for South Carolina. That's why Shane needs to win. Where are we with the spread of that game? SEC, Oklahoma. It's weird. I don't know why. Oklahoma's 5.5-point favorites. 12:45. Oklahoma got embarrassed by Texas. How about we live in a world where Vanderbilt, because of Clark Lee and Diego Pavia and Jerry Kill, we live in a world now where Vanderbilt's favored over LSU. It blows my mind. They're 2.5-point favorites. That's wild to me. It really is. 2.5-point favorites. That's good. That's good. Good for them. Vanderbilt's favored over LSU. And I know James Franklin did some nice stuff at Vanderbilt. That's what Filmation was talking about. If you do interview that guy, I want that guy. I want that interview. Don't give me the salesmanship at Penn State interview. I don't care, Wayne. You're right. Top 5 in the Heisman, I don't care. That award is as insignificant as any in college football. You tell me who the top 5 are. It always goes to quarterbacks or running backs anyway. I have no respect for an award. It's supposed to be a National College Football Award that only goes to 2 positions. And then the year they tried to make a statement, and they didn't give it to the quarterback who deserved it, Peyton Manning. They gave it to Charles Woodson. I've never cared any less about anything in my life than the Heisman Trophy. What it's become. It used to be a mega thing, and now it's nothing. Oh yeah, my Heisman Trophy winner would be Pavia or Haynes King, sure. But like any other award, there's a lot of politics involved. By the way, did you see Curt Cignetti go off yesterday? Well, he didn't go off. I'll take that back. He was talking to Joel Klatt on his podcast. Man, you got to love Cignetti. And he's just calmly saying that he doesn't care what anybody says about his program at Indiana. He said, look, and Klatt is guilty of this too. Klatt, Fox is where he works. He's a major Big Ten guy. He said, you can find it, Cignetti. It made its rounds yesterday on X. And he's just very matter-of-fact saying, well, I don't pay attention to any of the networks say because they're going to talk up whoever they have contracts with, whoever they support and who supports them. So ESPN, he said it. ESPN is always going to talk about the SEC. Check. He did not say that to Joel about Fox and the Big Ten, but he goes, you follow what I'm saying. It's going to be whatever it is to promote and to help the money stream going. This is Signetti. He gets it. He gets the entire picture of everything. Right? He gets the picture of the whole thing, and I think that's why he's being so successful at a place like Indiana. That, and he's just a damn good football coach. Too old, I'm told, but they're number 3 in the country. Gordy Lockbaum was robbed in 1987. Ryan Pry, the attorney. Let that sink in for a little bit. Indiana's number 3 in the country. Yeah, who won it the year that Mike Vick? How did Mike Vick not win the Heisman? Because he was a freshman. Who won it that year, Wayne? Winky? Oh. Really? Because they won the national title. Oh, wait, had nothing to do with it. When's the award given out? It's given out before the game, isn't it? But they were number 1. So Winky got the Heisman over the guy who changed the game of college football forever. That makes a lot of sense. I'll have to ask Dwight that question. How in the world did Mike Vick not win the Heisman Trophy? It was Ron Dane. Okay. It was Ron Dane. Gotcha. Okay. It was Ron Dane. Okay, well, that makes a little more sense then. Yeah, Brian, we've been talking about it. As a matter of fact, Brian, if I have to, I'll show it again. This is from that movie. That's from the scene. That's right before she got ready to start her dance right there. Thanks for being a premium member, by the way, Brian, you and Wayne. It means a lot. It helps me get $1 or $2 here and there. Thank you. Yeah, and From Dusk Till Dawn, I already knew about her, but From Dusk Till Dawn sealed the deal forever. Just that scene. It's the only scene she's in the movie. And then at the end, she turns into a vampire. But really, at that point, it really didn't matter anymore. But there's no question that Tarantino was the smart one by putting himself smack dab in the middle of that scene. I don't guess we're going to have AB today. I've not heard a word from him. I gotta make sure I get the next guest email right here. It's a new email I'm typing in, and I'm terrible at that. It's got numbers. Uh-oh. See, and I've already messed it up. We'll see if that one works. We'll see if I got that one right. Boom. All right, so I'm sending that to David Mabry. David, let me know if you got that, if you're watching. Okay. I have a hard time. I don't know about you when you type certain words, but the word mail, like if it's Gmail, I always put the I before the A. So mine is Gmail. I don't know why I do that, but I do. I don't mean to, but I do. Gmail instead of Gmail. Yeah, it's just French. I'm so proficient in French. That's all it is, Wayne. That's all it is. But David Mabry's done a great job restoring all these high school football highlights, man. It's incredible what he's done. We're going to talk to him about that, and we're going to get more of those folks. He does Three Rings Football. And I know a lot of you watch it. It probably comes up on your Facebook feeds or X, wherever it might be. And it keeps the history of high school football in the state alive. It's awesome to see those old teams. He had, stuff up from Coach Linneberg's state title teams. Just awesome stuff, man. See all those great players. We have, and I'm not even talking about statewide, but here where we live, in the New River Valley, throughout southwestern Virginia, in Roanoke County, Roanoke City, we have some excellent historical football. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Dwight Vick joins us coming up at 8:00. So, yeah, we're going to talk to him about all that and what motivated him, and I'm glad he's doing it. It's it reminds me of? It's like our own version of NFL films. It's like what's what he's doing. I think David's with us now. I see him in the green room. He's enjoying his snacks. He's being served by Selma Hayek, by the way. Oh, wait. No, that didn't happen. There he is. David. Good morning, bro. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, man. How are you? Thanks for coming on.
Oh, I'm doing great. Just got my dogs walked.
Yeah.
So I'm woke up and ready to roll, I reckon.
Yeah, well, let's get to it, man. First of all, congratulations. Did you ever think when you started doing this, I know it was probably a pet project for you. You just love high school football. First of all, you've coached it for how long now? How long have you been coaching?
40 years.
40 years in coaching.
Yeah.
Just like Phil Macian.
Yeah, I got out of it this past year.
You were at Narrows, right? Your last year?
Yeah, the last 2 years at Narrows, 20 plus at Alta Vista, first stint at Narrows about 17, and a couple of years at Southampton.
Wow.
And oh, wait a minute, 5 years at Rustburg.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, a lot.
Well, let's talk about what motivated you to start this. I know you did it as a pet project because of your interest and your passion, and it has it's absolutely exploded. And what now you and Julian are creating, I mean, this has become a pretty big thing for you. This is awesome.
When after I retired from teaching and everything, I knew I wanted to come back to the Valley and from Alta Vista.
Yeah.
When I came back, couldn't get a house in Christiansburg, which is my hometown. And I thought, I really don't want to start over socially. And what better place to come back to than Narrows, where everybody that runs the town, that runs the school, were former students or players of mine.
Right.
So socially, you don't have to start over.
That's
so anyway,
true.
I'm walking around the school, and Kelly Lowe takes me into the closet and into the closet of the JV locker room. And he opens the door and he says, look at this. Excuse me. And I look, and it's just canisters and canisters of film. And the film is, I'm looking, and it's labeled, and I'm seeing 1960 Narrows Christiansburg, 1961 Narrows Blacksburg. I'm just, my eyes just got big as silver dollars, because I'm thinking I want this Harry Ragsdale 1960, 61, 62 Narrows run. They were undefeated those 3 years, running single wing. And I'm thinking this will be great. And I said, I asked Kelly, I said, what are you going to do with it? He goes, we don't know what to do with it. And I said, well, then it's mine. So the plan was just to redo those 3 Nares years. Well, the rabbit hole started getting bigger and bigger. And the next thing I know, I'm talking to Dave Christ, you know, and he puts me in touch with Zach Leonard at Blacksburg High School, and they have a treasure trove. Then all of a sudden, Mikey Chris sends me a text at Radford. And then everything just ballooned from there. And now it's like, sort of like crack cocaine. I'm addicted now.
And now all these schools, you're finding out most of them have these just old, you know, films available for you to transfer. Is that right? I mean, are they coming to you, or are you still actively asking?
I'm actively asking. I haven't in a while, just for the fact funding for the project. I think I explained to you a little bit yesterday. Funding for the project is running a little low. I got daughters getting married here soon, so I can't keep pouring everything into it. But and so that slows me down some, because I've got 943, I think by my count, 943 videos on
wow. 943. Wow.
43. I told you I'm in the hole a little bit on this deal, but I love it so much that, you know, I enjoy watching. I like it from a coach's perspective, just to see what people were doing. I'm seeing old high school games of when I played. You know, I was hurt most of my career, but when I did play, I'm seeing, and I was wondering, you know, how the coaching like I thought it was, and all that as I look at the film. And just what I've been able to learn and see just of the history of the league has been amazing to me. Names like John Dobbins from Radford High School. You know, John Dobbins came before Norm Lindenberg.
Right.
Before those 71, 72 teams. John Dobbins is just an incredible football player. And I've got enough film on him to understand. Because I saw him when I was a kid play against my brother's Christiansburg teams. And all that. I get to see the Dublin teams, who my dad was a Dublin graduate. And you see the Rick Walsons and the Nicky and Tony Cardens of the world, and Milton Clark, Ricky Casey, and all that crew. You know, so anything Dublin that I see, I take. Pulaski, same thing. The Jim Hickam teams at Pulaski. And, you know, even farther back, the Nares teams, like I was saying, Jerry Huffman, Norman Clevenger, Dan Fligger was an All-American at Nares in 1960. I didn't realize that the New River District didn't start until 1960.
No, I didn't know that either. That's interesting. Okay.
It's known as District 6 before that. And District 6 had 20 schools in it, with William Byrd, Bassett, Martinsville. And then in 1960, they blew up District 6 and formed the Piedmont, the Blue Ridge, and the New River.
Okay.
So, you know, I've learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
And everything. But, and I reckon the fun thing about it is I hear from families of players that a lot of them have passed and everything.
Sure.
Families and stuff, you know, that they said, we never got the opportunity to see this stuff. And so, you know, that's, I reckon if you get a pat on the back, that's my pat on the back. You know, when I hear from these families.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. You're bringing back their family history, you know, You're giving them something they wouldn't have known was even out there anymore, man. That's an incredible gift to be able to hand to somebody. Yeah.
And then, you know, you get to, I got a call one day from Steve Ragsdale, and he said, I know I've got a bunch of games. And I think you can relate to this. I got a call one day from Steve Ragsdale, and my daughter pulled in the driveway at the same time. And my daughter walks in the door, and I says, hold on, I got to take his call. It's Rags. And I go to my back deck, and my daughter, who I haven't seen in 2 months, well, hour and a half later, I get to her.
Hey, honey, good to see you. Sorry.
And the thing is, that whole hour and a half, I enjoyed the fire out of it. I mean, it was, I could listen to him all day. And he'd probably be willing to tell you stuff all day. But the thing is, all good stuff. But just be able to pick up that I've got, but a lot of schools I haven't been able to get a lot of stuff from. Christiansburg's library was not real good as far as what they had saved. I would really love, if people are watching, Galax, George Wythe, Floyd County. I've talked with Winford. I need to follow up with Winford on that. But I would love to get a lot of those games.
Absolutely.
Players like Lewis Stewart at Floyd, the whole row of Browns that came from Galax, that 83 George Wythe team, would love to get that stuff out there for people to see, because people need to see that.
Yeah, right.
People need to see that. That's the history of the league and everything. And they need to see what they're paying. And then they realize, if younger people see it, they sit there and say, well, maybe Dad's not as full of crap as I thought he was when he told these stories, because he looks pretty good on this film.
David Mabry joining us on the program from Three Rings Football. Rod, you know Rodney Young. I know you do. He says Dave Brown at Dublin High School used to have a sign that had District 6 on it. They would just leave up. That's pretty cool. Cool. Julian, good morning. How are you? Julian Brown from Virginia Nova Legends Podcast. We're going to try to get Julian on next week too, by the way.
I tell you what, you talk about a site that blew up.
Oh, absolutely.
I've got regional attention. He's got state attention.
You better believe it, man. That's awesome. We're going to I can't wait to get into that too.
He's got two.
That's right. He's got 2 states. Yeah.
But
let me ask you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead, man.
What I was going to say with what Julian's doing, is people supply. It's the people that supply what's there. He gives them that platform and they supply it. Now I see and what's funny to me is people complain, as I reckon human nature dictates that we all must complain about something, but people complain, you don't have our players, this and that. You're putting these players on. Well, you have the control. You can sit there and put stuff in there. So, that's those sites. That's what, but it's so good. I think there's a little bit of a renaissance. I'd like to think I had a little bit to do with it.
I have to ask you, as a guy who's a coach, and you're a football coach, how much have you enjoyed going back? You recognize the players, but then you're going, wait a minute, let's watch more intricacies of these offenses and defenses, right? And how much did that really just grasp you totally, and you just kind of got lost in what you were watching in terms of schematics and formations and so forth?
That's actually a great question, because
I can see you just going, ooh, this is good.
You got to understand, for years coaching, I would watch games and people, I try not to be fanboy on anything. I'm not Tech, rah, 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 rah. I'm not UVA, rah, 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 rah. I like them both. I support our state schools.
Sure.
I go nuts. I don't be, like I said, I'm not a fanboy of any, except maybe the Packers.
Sure, yeah.
It's like your Bronco thing,
yep.
But I had, when I moved, I didn't realize until I moved, the Walmart containers that the plastic containers that you fill up and everything. I had 3 containers with about 45 notebooks in it.
Wow.
Drawing plays, defenses. So when I watch a game, if I watch an NFL game, college game, I'm sitting there, all right, why are they running that? I'm not sitting there saying what they're doing is stupid. I'm saying, what are they seeing that makes them want to run this? What are they seeing that wants them in that personnel type of thing? Because that's the thing about football to me. You're always learning. So when I go back and look at the old school stuff, and you mentioned Dave Brown, I tell you what, Dave Brown stuff, I can't get enough. And I know the Pulaski County people probably in the late 70s and everything probably weren't real happy with him probably, but his career at Dublin was incredible. And the stuff offensively, I've got a clip on fairly recent of Nicky Carden, a 14-year-old Nicky Carden in 1968. Dublin's playing at Radford, a day game, because they had to play day games. And Nicky Carden they're running motions. And, of course, Dave must have taught his quarterbacks. I know both Carden boys did it, the around the back. They would do the fake handoff, and then around the back, they take the ball around their back. Thing. They throw, and he was throwing screens, a lot of innovative stuff. And of course, Norm came in, and that's the thing that I love about this game is I was a power guy forever. I formation, at Nares, we were running basically single wing blocking scheme, wing T type stuff at Nares, my first go round. When I went with Mike Sharness at Rustburg, we're running.
Great coach.
Love Mike.
Had him at Pulaski County. He started out at Pulaski County when I was there. Yeah.
And think about his evolution. Wing T with Joel Hicks. He goes to Carroll, puts in, starts running the I, becomes an I formation guy. Power guy, wins the state title at Rustburg running power. And then all of a sudden he comes to Alta Vista and he's looking and he's like, wait a minute. He said, we need to rethink what we do. And all of a sudden we went from a power team running a 53 defense to a spread team running a 3-5 defensive scheme.
I love that. I like being able to evolve and adjust to personnel at the time. That says a lot about a coach.
And that's why Mike Sharness has got 4 state championships.
That's right.
Because you evolve as your players evolve, because the game changes. It's, you talk about, I've heard you talk about the NFL being different and this and that. Well, the days of Earl Campbell running 30 times a game and bruising people up. I met Earl Campbell one day and he was in a wheelchair and on oxygen.
Yeah.
And this was when in his 50s, maybe 60, So, the evolution of the game, while a lot of people don't like it, is good. But as coaches, we learn to evolve with the game, or we go sell insurance or something else.
That's right. David Mabry joining us on the program, Three Rings Football, and it's just awesome. He's bringing the memories back to life. And as you watch the single wing and the wing T, and we talk about the evolution, how much of that do you still recognize today? You just recently got out of coaching, and I guess it never leaves certain programs like the 2 in Parisburg, but how much have you seen those original coaches from way back then and the influence they've had continue to be, in many ways, some of the basic foundations, especially offensively?
A lot. That's the game. The line schemes have changed over the years. Probably when you played at Pulaski County, running wing T, you guys were man blocking, man, double down, kick out. You had a man per se, and now everything zone scheme basically, except up the road here at Parisburg. Who they're doing great, by the way. And I look for them big things down the road. Very well coached team. I saw them against Nares, and they're still running the old school stuff. They're doing the, double down, kick out, double at the point of attack on every inside play. Even though it changes, that mentality's still there. It's still repetition. You go back to Ragsdale. With Steve, if you look, his practices were physical, but what made the Giles teams that he had over the years good was the repetition. And he did a lot of ID work. He did a lot of where he would just take one side of his line, or he would take a guard and a tackle and the tight end. And they would rep, and they would, just completely rep stuff. And the reps would be physical, But instead of doing the 40 minutes of bull in the ring and all that, your physical stuff is coming with stuff that's actually going to be related to the game. If you look back to the days when you played Little League or JV or something, it was about who the toughest was. I look back to my days, and there were days, oh, what are we doing in practice today? We're doing one-on-ones, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah.
But repetition, and I think the physicality, and when you look at different schools, if you look at a Narrows, Narrows' number this year is 177 kids through the VHSL.
Okay.
Per minute. And we catch flack here because we play in a Pioneer and all the other schools are in the same boat we are. So if you have one injury, you've got to move 5 people.
Sure.
To work that injury and everything.
Absolutely.
So you cut back a lot on your physicality during your practices and stuff for that reason. Or, you might be in a situation like Galax, who unfortunately I heard yesterday pulled the plug.
Yeah, they're done. They're done. Yeah.
And it's amazing. 2 years ago, they were state champions.
It is amazing.
But people have a hard time grasping. That's single A football a lot of times. And as the numbers are declining, it's just tough to get those squads together and everything.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about what you're saying. It's a great point. And Galax, I know it's just attrition and numbers going through the program. How that happens, I don't know. From a state, we had it here in Auburn and Reiner. We had 2 years of no football, and now it's great to see them back and building. And Class 1, they're having a good year. It happens. It happened. You look at what happened with Craig County. They missed at least a season and a half. Bland County, and now Craig County's number 1 in the state. I mean, it's
Craig. That evolution. But the thing is, I'm sitting there, and I'm an old guy, and obviously I do have a tie to social media, which is pretty rare for people my age. But keep up with like Jake Dowdy and that crew at Craig, and I could see the enthusiasm in like the weight room. They post stuff on their social media with the weight room and stuff like that. You could just see, that building up, and it's like a snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger as it goes. And right now they're reaping the benefits of everything they've done. Just hats off to them for what they've done there. Again, it's a small school, and the big thing is, can you stay injury free and all that? And then we'll see what happens down the road. But yeah, and I've mentioned Giles as being a man blocking school. Well, I forgot to mention Craig's in that same boat. They're doing that. Whereas most of the other schools are zoning everybody.
Right. Is it gonna be a focus of just as this continues throughout our region, or if anybody in the state says, hey, we want you to look at what we did throughout the years, in the eastern part or in the northern part? I mean, I know you already know a lot about that, but I guess around here, I still think it'd be intriguing to find out how all that evolved as well in the higher, more populous areas of the state, if you will. And then further down in the far Southwest Virginia,
The way it is right now for me with this is, like I said, it's an expensive undertaking.
Yeah.
So right now, my focus is New River or New River ties. Plus, I put on there games I coach. So you're going to see Alta Vista games on there.
Sure.
Usburg games on there that I coached. And that's my way of putting that stuff out there. And that way it's there. If I want to see it, I can click on it. Possibly, I thought, and I've talked with Jeremy Haymore, and he was offensive coordinator and head coach for a while at Stanton River when Stanton River was at their peak. and they were running single wing. Imagine that. Had a couple of studs, Grayson Overstreet and the Tester kid, and they were just lighting up scoreboard. So I think I might put up some of that just for the ties that it's going to have to Giles, because good and well, before they put all that stuff in, they had many a conference with Mr. Ragsdale. So, so I will put some ties to that. But as far as going complete Eastern Shore and all that, probably not, just for the time and everything else.
Sure.
Yeah. I think there's a lot here. Like I said, if I can get Floyd, George Wythe, Galax.
Yeah.
Or like Radford, when I went through, Radford had just an amazing library, but 71, 72 games, which is what everybody wants, those were picked through. So I didn't get all those. A lot of those 71, 72 games that I have, I got from Blacksburg, Narrows, from their stuff. Christiansburg games. I got 1 solid year of Christiansburg games from someone associated with Christiansburg High School. And so I would love to get as much as I could on that. Early Giles. I've got, I've worked with Jeff Williams, their coach that just retired, and with Steve also, and got most of the 1980s and all that. And I'll put probably newer Giles up. I don't know if anybody knows my future son-in-law is Brian Mann, who was a stud running back when they won the state in 2013, which was funny because they won the state. And when I was at Alta Vista, we won the state on the same field the same day.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
Then to find out later, he's going to be my son-in-law. So
yeah, good football conversations at least around the dinner table, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm getting a lot of questions. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of questions on the text line asking your process. How do you transfer the film over? And so has that process gotten easier? I'm guessing that's a lot of the expense too, right?
Yeah, that is the expense.
Yeah.
I use Legacy Box, and you order the box itself. And what I do, I try to send off about 20 at a time.
Okay.
And right now I'm still doing basically 16 millimeter canisters, which are very space consuming and heavy and hard to move and everything else. I didn't realize until you start trying to move
I bet
of them or something. I've got closets full that I've got to take back to Radford and Blacksburg, get the originals back to them. But I send those off, and it usually takes, and I pay extra to get 10-day processing. Right now I've got 40. I sent 40 off. Sending off 40 is about $500. And I sent 40 off, and they're in the oven ready. I'm ready to get those digitals back anytime.
Awesome.
Next day or two and all that. And like I said, if anybody would like to donate, money is welcome. I'm not going to say you got to, but if you're just feeling generous or the mood hits you, hit me up and I'll tell you how.
Hey, Rodney Landreth, the name you know very well, says hats off to Coach Mance, coaching with him in Loris, South Carolina, number 3 in the state. Good Giles guy, although in Pulaski we did not feel the same.
Greg Mance was a hell of a wingback too.
Yeah.
Back in that single wing on that 1980 and 81 teams. Oh, incredible.
That's really cool. Well, it reminds me, just hearing your story. I remember when I read and I'm sure you have with the Sables, when the NFL films and all that, and Steve Sable took over for all those canisters. I just envision your closets. I see all those old NFL film shows, and they just had all these shelves lined up with those big canisters all over the years they started. And I'm guessing that's probably what your closets look like with the boxes.
I've got one main closet in my upstairs, and it's just completely full of stuff. And like I said, the hard part, like when you go to the new Blacksburg High School, I'll sit there and I'll text Zach Leonard and I'll say, hey, I want to get some more film, or I want to bring this back. I said, you don't happen to have any kids there, do you? He goes, well, I got some players. I said, please send them out to my car. It's heavy. And I pride myself. I lift every day, and I pride myself, but I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, no, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, that's right. It's part of the workout. It's part of their training. Carry canisters for me.
Yeah. But been fun. And, the other thing I'd like to add is I put for every game, what I try and do, I do pay subscriptions for newspaper archives. And I'll get Roanoke Times, Bristol, Radford News Journal, Pulaski, Lynchburg News and Advance. And I try and find the newspaper article of the game and then put the newspaper article with the film into the film.
I've seen that. That's so cool. That's
how I've been able to put stuff on Julian's sites, because I just save the JPEGs of the articles and stuff like that. And then I'll make I'll post stuff on his sites from that. And every once in a while I get some basketball games. I've got some old Buddy Martin, Coach Radford basketball team, some Bill Pattison 1960s Nares teams, Steve Ragsdale as an all New River District basketball player in 68, 69. I've got a couple of Steve Ragsdale games.
Wow.
And he went off and played basketball at Roanoke College and won a national championship. So Reggie
makes a good point here, David. He says, hey, there's got to be some type of historical grants. The government's got to have some way to say, hey, we can help fund this. This is such a it's invaluable what you're doing, right? Somebody's got to take notice and help out, I would hope.
Reggie needs to be the man to write the letter on that. If a preacher can't get it done, nobody can.
Come on, government, do something useful for a change. Let's help out the David Mabry project. This is awesome, man. It's so appreciated. Think about it. I mean, I know you're a very humble guy, but you do understand how much people appreciate this and how many, like you mentioned, how many lives you've affected, right? I mean, this is it's massive what you're doing. It really is.
And like I said, the thing with the game of football is, for me, is the first game I ever remember watching was the Ice Bowl. I fell in love with the game. Became a Packer fan, went to the bus stop later on, a couple weeks after that game. It was the holidays and we had storms and stuff. And I'm 8 years old, and me and my neighbor Dennis Harmon are fighting because he's a Cowboy fan. So naturally, my hate for the Cowboys started there. Sure. And that's lasted all my life. But anyway, football, my dad took me to 1970 to see Dublin at Gate City. And most of the colorful language that I know, I probably learned at that game when the supposed fire trucks had come in and watered down the field, which I'm sure you've heard a million times too. Yeah, absolutely. That was the first year of the playoffs. But I fell in love with the game. I knew I wanted to get into it. I played the game. I was hurt most of the time. Tore ACL, still have a torn ACL. Never had surgery to get it repaired. I went to Ferrum. Thought I was going to try and play again. I was out of my league. Coach Norton and actually Coach Elmation came later.
Okay, yeah.
Norton taught me how to break down film. So he sort of gave me a little bit of a GA type work, even though I was just, an undergrad there. I got Norm Lindenberg gave me a couple of scouting jobs, not because he needed it done, but because he wanted to just feed me a bone, give me a little something to keep things going. Phil Robbins, who, when I got my job at Southampton, my first job out of school, he was one of the first people to call me. And we did not get along when I was younger at all. But he was the first person to call me, helped me find an apartment, called Wayne Cosby, got me on the staff at Southampton. And then, I coach everything I have, my teaching career, my daughter's colleges, weddings that I'm going to pay for, my retirement, everything comes back to the game of football for me. So I owe the game something, and I owe the game in this region especially something. So that's why I do it.
Well, and you can just, every time you see a post and watch, you can just see the passion and the effort you've put into it. And people are taking notice, man. And we'll follow up next week with Julian and find out all the great things that they're doing. And it's great, man. Everywhere I go, people talk about, hey, did you see what David posted? And I say, yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, so people are watching, and you know that. And I know you hear it all the time, right? You hear it from everybody, how much they appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I try and take an hour or two a day in the mornings, usually around this time where I start messing with it. And I'll start taking clips, now, when I don't have as much film coming in, I try and clip it up. And that way I can put a Nicky Carden name on a clip and people can say, oh, that's Nicky Carden,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dobbins, and all that. So I don't mind, because when I go through a game, I do clip it up. And so I've got clips for the future, ready to put on. I just don't put everything on all at once. And it's just something I enjoy doing. I don't play golf, so I got to do something.
I don't either. I never took to golf. I was the same way. We're more of team sport guys, aren't we? That's what we do.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
I went playing golf with Mike Burton one time in about 1985, 86. And I had a headache for 5 days after. And I said, no, I can't do this. Plus, I don't have the patience.
Yeah, a lot of bad things come out when you're out trying to golf. I want to ask you about one player because I remember all the time I spent with Coach Lindenberg, the quarterback, Kenny Alderman. Have you found a lot with Kenny on there? Coach Lindenberg told me that that's the greatest player he's ever coached, Kenny Alderman.
Yes, I found there's more to find. But I found and posted a lot of stuff with Kenny. But what I did not realize until I saw it on film, because like when he played, I was 11, 12 years old. And then when I'm watching on film, I mean, he had an absolute cannon of an arm. Plus, he had that 72 team might be, and again, when you compare eras, it's tough. I think I've always thought greatest of all time or best ever and all that. I think they're sort of fruitless. There's something you do at a bar drinking a beer or something, but they're sort of fruitless because different eras.
All right.
But that Radford team of 72, I mean, you had runners, you had linemen, you had receivers.
Yeah.
You had you had everything there. Plus, you had a quarterback that was not just a cannon arm, but a high football IQ.
That's what he used to say. Yeah.
And I mean, it was, you saw very few mistakes from Kenny Alderman, and his passing elevated the running game, and the running game elevated his passing. But he was incredible. And then he went on to be an excellent coach at Brookville and a couple other places.
That's right. Well, man, David, listen, thanks so much for coming on. Let's do this more often. We'll get updates on how the project's going. I want to, you said you got 40 coming back in. Is that right?
Yes.
I want to find out about these 40 as we see them pop up as we get into it. Can you tease a little bit? Where are these 40 coming? What are they going to show us here coming up?
We're going to have some Radford 77, 78, Narrows, nice. 1980 Narrows. And in honor of two of the greatest coaches to ever coach in the state of Virginia, I have a 1962 William Byrd Bassett game.
Wow.
William Byrd, coached by Norm Lindenberg in his first year. And I have a 1975 John Battle against, I think, Tennessee High from 1975, and that's Phil Robbins.
Oh, wow.
Early years. So
Dude, that's awesome. Wow, that's so cool. Let people again know where they can find you, because I know a lot of people are going to be searching now as the day goes on when they get bored. Oh, where are those videos? Let's go find David Mabry.
Okay. Three Rings Football on YouTube. It's pretty easy. Also, I've got everything broken down there by school. So if you go to
that's awesome. That's awesome.
If you go to playlist and you want to go to Dublin High School, I have a Dublin High School folder, and all the Dublin games and clips are on there. If you want Narrows, Radford, I've even put Galax and with the games that I could accumulate with them. But I still need Galax with Floyd. So HS Ingo and people like that, if you're listening, Winfred, give me a shout.
Absolutely, man. Dublin had those cool, what was the silver helmets and those light blue jerseys.
Hey, when Mason Clark put that book out,
what a uni!
Oh, that, and you saw that cover photo in color. I was like, okay, now this makes sense. And then when you watch the film and you can picture it when you see Rick Walson running the
right, because you got black and white on the film, but you can envision the
those uniforms were sharp.
They really were. I remember them. My dad went to Dublin as well, so I remember going to those games as a wee lad. So
awesome. That and the Dublin Radford games from 71, 72. Dave Brown just had just had bad luck because, when he started at Narrows, when he started at Dublin, Narrows, Harry Ragsdale. Then, he wins the district title 67. Then in 70, 71, 72, when Dublin was loaded, so was Radford.
Yeah. Right.
And Radford had those generational teams. So, a lot of that, as great a coach as he was just in a lot of it, wrong place, wrong time.
You think, before I let you go, you think you'll ever scratch that itch to get back into coaching at all, or are you completely done? You just taking some time? You think maybe watching all this stuff might get you, you know what? Maybe I'm not quite. Maybe I got more to contribute here on the sideline.
I've retired from coaching 4 different times. So, I'll go to practice every now and then. And as I'll tell him, I go over and I'll talk to Kelly and Dakota Schrader and them, and I'll just come over and tell you what you're doing wrong.
So you'll still be coaching. Yeah, I got you. David, thanks so much, brother. This is great, man. They could do this all day. It's awesome. And congratulations on what you're doing, and just know how much it's appreciated. And again, folks, you want to help David out, hit him up, help him out. Maybe we'll do some more research here with some of the peeps. I know this audience, they will try to see if they can figure out some way to help you out. I know that. They will.
That'd be great. Like I said, I got to start funneling my money to wedding dresses and stuff like that. So, so we got to figure something out.
All right, man. Well, listen, keep up the great work, and thanks for everything you're doing, brother. It's awesome. And I know you'll enjoy the football this weekend because you always do. So great stuff, man.
You do remember we did this like 30 years ago, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah,
it was a long time. It was a long time ago. That's right. We did. Wow. Let's do it again, though. Let's don't wait another 30 years. Let's do this again very soon.
I'm up for it.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. Stay safe. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you. You too.
All right. There you go. David Mabry. 3 Rings Football, man. Check it out. How awesome is that? It's just so valuable what he's doing. It's so great. You can't really quantify it enough how important it is what he's doing. So, yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's make some noise. Let's try to help him out. You're right. I agree with what Reggie said. There's got to be something that we can do to get David some help, man. Because the transfer over, he said that's where the cost was, right? There's got to be something out there, government-wise, to help out the guy. Because this is a historical, this is massive for all these communities. Massive. We got to keep doing that, man. So yeah. Let's see what we can do. We'll have David on again, and we're gonna get Julian on next week as well. Figure out a day that works, and this is good stuff, man. This is why. This is talking to folks like David, and all of our guests, and Dwight coming up. That's what makes this show fun, and you. That's what makes all this worthwhile. It's the main reason I do it. So I have messed up again, by the way. This shows you how I don't learn. Before Dwight comes on, you see right here over my right shoulder, see? I have a shade. I didn't pull it all the way shut. So let me go fix that before we get Dwight on here. And hang on. I'll give you something to entertain yourself. Here we go. I'll be right back. You'd rather look at Selma than me anyway. Come on. There we go. All right. Now the glare is gone. Hang on. Better get rid of Selma. If I leave Selma on there, Dwight he won't focus on me at all. There he is, the quintessential source for all things Tech football. What's up, brother? Dwight Vick.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Good morning, man. You can't gotta be careful, man. You can't put Selma Hayek up on this early in the morning, man. It's a good thing some people are listening versus watching. You know what I'm saying? Like
that might cause some issues, right?
Yeah, she is gorgeous, man.
That's great. Yeah, she is. She's number one. She's my one. The show. She's the show number one.
Hey, man, yeah. As the kids say, God was in his bag when he made it.
He was in a really good mood that day when he made that. Yeah.
She's a gorgeous woman. Yeah, great actress too, man.
Yeah, she is. She's good. Wow, a lot to get to, man. First of all, Tech announced that they're going silent on everything with the NDA. A lot of people are frustrated. I really don't have a major problem with it because you don't want a bunch of mixed messaging going around, that we talked about. But your thoughts on that and where everything sits and how you're viewing the early stages of, what might be happening in Blacksburg.
You know what? Shout out to my guy, Andy Bitter, because I know Andy was just reporting it, but I just want to tell some fans, man, to calm down and breathe. And then there's some fans I want to tell, you just guys got to shut up, man. You got to shut up. Here's the thing. We don't need to know. I mean, you have sources. I have a handful of sources and some connection. But I mean, just a lot of process to take shape, man. Everybody has already given their prophetic tweets and posts and comments. I saw about 9 lives yesterday on Facebook on various Virginia Tech football pages. And then I see people on Twitter talking about they saw this guy at a restaurant and Mark Stoops is the lead. I think Whitney and those guys don't need to say anything. Because, let's say they did take an interview or talk about the 4 candidates that were leading or who they were leading towards. Now you give a leg up to some of these other competitive colleges that you're competing with if you have the same applicant.
Absolutely.
This is when I do miss the old days when, you open the newspaper and you say, oh, they hired this guy from Michigan. I remember the element of surprise. I think right now, and this is our own fault as partakers in collegiate and NFL and in professional sports, is we've lost our way when it comes to patience. We are in the midst of a coaching change. I'm here to support Coach Montgomery and his staff. I'd like to see them get a win, next week it's next week, right, against Cal.
Yeah, next Friday.
Next Friday. I would love to see that happen, break the losing streak, get, to 500 in the ACC. As a fan, as an alumni, as part of the faces of Virginia Tech football, I don't really need to know who Witt had lunch with. I mean, listen, I don't even think the average casual fan or average diehard fan understands the ebbs and flows of this coaching search and how it's going to take time. And there's a lot of stuff being done behind the scenes, but how many times have you watched a 30 for 30, Rick, or, a behind the scenes type story when they say, that MVP season, Allen Iverson was a physical away from going to the Clippers, but Matt Geiger failed his physical. Or the 49ers almost didn't take Joe Montana. Or this player wasn't sold on you know, this quarterback or this lineman and then end up working out. Like I always felt that was the beauty of sports, was to kind of just allow it to happen and take shape. I think the NDA actually protects Virginia Tech, regarding like who they may take and just putting out misinformation. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
okay with it. And I'm gonna say this. I truly miss, you saw my tweets. I truly miss when I would wake up on after a great weekend or a good weekend and we would talk about rankings, Virginia Tech's position in the ACC standings, the Coastal Division, um, Tech Talk Live on Tuesday night. I miss when it was about the game. You see kids get interceptions one weekend and next weekend they're in the portal. I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you right now, we as a society that follows this game, that loves this game, I know it is what it is and it's not going to change. We are really, really losing sight what this is all about. And I'm not anti-players getting paid. I'm not anti-coaches getting paid. But, the money involved now, um, I don't want to use the word loyalty, but it's just everybody's trying to get what they want. And it's not good. It's not good. I'm going to watch because it's in my DNA. I'm part of something that's bigger than myself. I played at Tech, played against UVA and a lot of great programs and institutions, but we're really getting sloppy with this. The money, I mean, guys are getting fired. You talk about the guy from Penn State, James Franklin, which he's a polarizing figure. You have some that love him, some that don't want him. I don't really care either way. Um, but I will say, when you take a step back, I know he didn't beat Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon. I know his top 5, top 10 resume against those opponents isn't the best, but he took over after the Sandusky scandal.
That's
Um,
right. That's right.
and Penn State was a proud program, proud alumni base, and they were in disarray. There was even talk. I'm just going to refresh some memories this morning around 8 a.m. this morning. There was a contingency of people, and there was a possibility they were going to shut down Penn State football.
It was very close.
It was
Yeah.
close. Again, one of those stories that people forget about because it went the other way, but it was almost shut down. And he came in and got them to national prominence. If you asked a Virginia Tech fan or loyalist if they would take Penn State's resume the last 15 years, they would say absolutely. Right? Playoff experiences, Rose Bowl wins. But again, I'm not even saying he's right for this program, but we are seeing guys get fired at halftime. I remember the coach over at UCLA that got met at halftime or post game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. And again, I'm not trying to sit on my soapbox and preach because some of these guys do need to get fired. It's just after one season, after one game. Again, I'm not insinuating that it wasn't time for Pride to go. I'm just saying like the game is changing right now, right in front of us. High school football. You had that guest that was just on. I've seen his work on the Virginia Legends page,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
David.
tell
Yeah.
you, the one thing about his nostalgia is that I posted about this yesterday on Twitter. I don't envy the guys. I'm not jealous of the fact that these players they can get paid. I'm not jealous or mad that high school kids in Virginia can get NIL deals approved 3 years ago by the VHSL. But I think they would appreciate the fact that most guys and women that played high school sports during the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s had cohesiveness, continuity, and consistency, and most importantly, they had certainty. I can't imagine playing in today's high school and college atmosphere when you're here today and gone tomorrow. It's just, again, I'm not saying everything has to be the Beamer or George Welsh way. What I'm saying is, it was nice to know that my PE teacher, my assistant O-line coach, was going to be at my high school when I came back to visit when I was in my 30s. It was cool to see consistency, to know who my AD was going to be, and if he or she left, they either moved or they took a higher job. So there was a level of continuity from the elementary school on up. Even with your TV shows, it's just the nostalgia of back in the day when you kind of knew what was going to happen. Now, again, in the NFL we've been seeing this, but college now is becoming the wild wild west. It's really, really. I think these guys don't really understand. They're going to get old one day like me and appreciate the importance of legacy and consistency. And that's what Virginia Tech needs to get back to. I don't know whoever they're going to hire if he will be here for 15, 16 years. But I think Virginia Tech right now just needs a guy and a staff that accompanies him, that comes in, that just knows how to coach. Someone asked me, who's your dream hire? Someone that can manage the roster, someone that knows how to manage timeouts, someone that knows how to
Right.
address the media, someone that has a true offseason program, somebody that understands how to deal with disgruntled players and navigate the portal, someone that understands how to make adjustments up 10 at halftime against Vanderbilt. I would love for that guy to take the job. That's what we've been missing. All these little sexy picks, and I want Mullen. I don't listen. The guy you mentioned from Memphis, I'll take him because he can
Yeah,
coach. All that people like nostalgia with hires. Oh,
I know. I know.
he did this, man. That doesn't always win. Most
No,
of
it
the
does
time, it
not.
doesn't. And
No, no.
is it sustainable?
Dwight Vick joining us, the founder of Victory Life, all conference lineman at Virginia Tech, his time in Blacksburg. And one thing I shared, and I have a source at a Big Ten school who's administrator, that the fact that Bruce Arians and Bud Foster, what he's hearing, he didn't have any specific names, but they're getting a lot of response because of those two guys and who they are. So I passed that along to Tech fan who's so concerned about all these openings and about the process. And I get it. Nobody's happy with what's going on with Witt. But, and you said it, we've talked about it, as long as those two guys are part of this, Tech's going to get a good football coach. I have total faith in what Bruce Arians and Bud Foster, they deserve the respect they're getting. And that's what I was told yesterday. Trust me, Tech would not be talking to as many people if those two guys weren't leading this search.
Yeah,
So,
let me say two things about that. First and foremost, just to remind your listeners, I know a lot of them, many of them, if not all of them, remember when I joined your show when you came back on a handful of years ago. And I came on your show many times when it was on the radio, and I stood up and stood on business and said I felt like Pry was the right guy. I felt that way because he was there when Virginia Tech built it. I don't know Pry in the sense of I wasn't in the meeting rooms or in the recruiting visits or the different things he did, but I felt like, he really fumbled the bag. I felt like he could have been the right guy if he
right.
made some tougher decisions and built on what he did that year. They went 7-6. He had the talent, he had the personnel, but the guys around him, the guys leaving right before the season or taking different jobs, or him entrusting the program with guys that maybe did not handle it well. The second thing I want to say is, even though I felt like Pryor was the guy, I felt like Witt and everybody involved made the right call. It just probably maybe should have been before the season started. And I'll add that Witt was not on the field against Wake Forest having egregious penalties that cost you the game. Witt did not get a personal foul or unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against South Carolina like Green did, and he followed it up again against Wake Forest that took them from a 4th and 1 to a long field goal. That was not Witt Babcock. The guys that are involved, like Bruce Arians and Bud Foster, understand the game. And Bud Foster name ring bells when you talk about the college football circuit. You talk about, a guy that is still considered the GOAT by many people coaching now. So credibility is essential. And I think those guys have credibility. I also think that a lot of us are emotional right now because, it looks like Virginia Tech's a dumpster fire. When, I watch your show as much as I can. When you look at um not Bill Roth, but Mike Burnett when he came on, and you both were talking early in the week about Virginia Tech football players are still playing hard.
Yes.
That was a 7-point game against Georgia Tech at one time.
Yeah.
In the second half.
Yeah.
And that's the team that's going to have a chance to play for a playoff or at least win the ACC. So you think about what Montgomery and the staff are doing. That's why I feel like a good hire can come in with the portal, even though the window is shorter this year, which is a good thing. I don't think it needs to be 17 weeks. I feel like with recruiting the portal and some guys that'll be looking for a home in the portal, and even some players that may stay committed, you'll get enough to win games. Virginia Tech's problem has been not culture, and it's been really their infrastructure and accountability. And that's been their issue. And accountability from the field, to the locker room, to the guys in Merriman. Accountability has been one missing. You've seen the movies, whether it was the movie Major Payne with Damon Wayans or other movies when
Yeah.
somebody, the movie when they come into the school, the principal or anything, right? Lean on Me. When somebody comes in, male or female, and the place is a S show, and they come in and they say, all right, this is what we're gonna do. And all of a sudden, within months, everything starts performing well. That's what Virginia Tech needs. A guy to come in, a disciplinarian, not somebody that's going to be downtown taking shots with students, not somebody that's going to have the practice start 15, 30 minutes late. That's what, again, these are small things that
That's
I can
right.
speak on, that work that they've been missing. So Bud knows that. I think my issue is, though, is not so much the ND. I don't care about that. I just don't want people to be selfish. Whether it's with the Board of Visitors, John Boleyn, everybody needs to humble themselves and know that this is bigger than you. It's not about what you want. It's what's best for Virginia Tech, and I think that's what has a lot of fans frustrated.
Agreed, 100%. And it's going to be a good place for the new coach, and they're going to get a good coach. I have no idea who it's going to be. I've only heard the one connection, and that was just because they wanted to talk. It makes more sense now with what I heard yesterday. They're not going to turn anybody away. They're out actively pursuing people, and people want to talk to Bruce Arians and Bud Foster. That's all I needed to hear. I'm okay. You know what? Whoever it ends up being, they're going to get a good guy, because those two guys know what a good football coach looks like in Blacksburg. No dissing to anybody else on the committee, Eddie or any of the academics or the boosters, whomever it might be. As long as those two guys are leading the snake, I'm good. The head of the snake, I'm good.
September 14th is my birthday, and a month ago, on my birthday, I got 100 text messages and shout outs on social media and phone calls. One of those text messages came from Bud Foster on this phone right here. And he texts me like he always does, like Coach John Spring always does. And Coach Foster texts me, and then we started to text back and forth about Virginia Tech. So this is a guy that if he wanted to, with his lovely wife and his family, could just be like, hey, that's y'all problem. This is a guy that is enjoying his retirement. You see the pictures if you follow him on social media and the videos of him surfing, hanging out, going to dinner, dancing with his wife. But he cares like I do. So when you care about something and you take your ego out of it, you understand it's bigger than you and you're going to get the right hire. Again, I'm going to say this again for those that may be just waking up. Bruce Arians is a OG in this business. Him and
He
Bud,
is. He is.
they're like, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci in Casino. When they walk in, remember in Goodfellas when he took his wife and they
that's
gave
who
him
they
all
are.
the
You're
way.
right.
Yeah, they get instant credibility. They get access. So
That's it. That's it.
not. They're going to pick up the phone when people call. And let me just remind some fans about this. Coaches, you may say, I hate Miami, I hate UVA, I hate Syracuse. The coaches are all friends except for a handful of guys. Like this is a brotherhood. They're going to talk differently. They're not talking about, this, whatever. They're like, hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you should hire this guy right here. No, don't take him. That guy's got a drinking problem. He passed out last night. They found him at a stoplight. That's how they talk away from it. They're not going to tell you all this. This is why the NDA protects them, especially in today when everybody's sensitive and the cancel culture exists, where you say one thing, all of a sudden,
one thing, yeah,
you're a racist or you're ignorant. So you got to be careful now. Everything is so sensitive. So that's a business move to protect everybody from protecting the integrity of the hiring process. And I'm okay with it. But I mean, Bud and those guys know what they're doing. I mean, again, are there too many people on the committee? I mean, you could say that, but sometimes, and it's like this: just because I play doesn't mean I know everything. So like a lot of times, I might have a fan and say, "Hey, you do this, do that." Like I remember when my cousin Mike finished third in the Heisman, and we were hanging out at his apartment. My career was at Tech was over by then. We were hanging out. True story. I've never lied to you, Rick. My wife at the time, then my girlfriend, we're hanging out with Mike Emmett Johnson, and Terrell Parham, two receivers on the Virginia Tech team that played for the national championship. And my wife turns to Mike Vick, and says, "Hey, you should really look for the tight end more because the tight ends are always open." And Mike was like, "Nah." She was like, "I'm telling you, the tight ends at the time were Bob Slokowski,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Browning Wynn." And the following week, I'm not saying it was not bustle, but my wife at the time, my girlfriend, Shanice Vick, told Mike to look for the tight ends, and Mike started throwing to the tight ends.
I love it.
mean,
I love
I
it.
mean, I'm not saying that she called the plays. I'm not saying that she should be. I'm not implying that she can call plays on the collegiate level. What I'm saying is we have a very smart fan base, but there's some stuff that, as Shaq would say, is G14 classified.
That's great. That's great to know.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
along those lines, is the only reason Mike finished third because he was a freshman? Because he's the best player in the country,
yeah. He
right?
finished behind. He finished behind Ron Dane and the kid
Who
at
was
Georgia
second?
Tech. The kid at Joey Hamilton. I think that was his name, from Georgia Tech. He
Yes.
ran the option. He's actually Pearson Prelo's cousin. Yeah, but I will say this. Yeah, he got robbed. I think if he played now, he would have won it because I think the Heisman voters are more progressive. Ron Dane was an animal, though. I mean, he was
He
basically
was.
he
He
was
was.
Thanos at Wisconsin. I mean, people were bouncing
He,
off of him.
he
I,
was.
I looking back, and that's one of those things they do the draft in hindsight and how it would be now. Looking back, Mike probably should have definitely won it because he took Virginia Tech to the national championship game, and he was revolutionizing the position right in front of us.
Changed the
I
game
mean,
forever.
yeah, I mean, and they knew that. I think, and you know what? Let me say this. This is going to maybe ruffle a few feathers, but Virginia Tech's brand was ascending at the time. So you got to remember, it's 1999. 7 years prior, Virginia Tech went 2-8-1. So
They were
even though we
nothing.
had
Yeah.
won the Sugar Bowl, we had won the conference a couple of times. Wisconsin is in the Big Ten, brand name at the time. Georgia Tech had won a national championship in 1990 or 91.
Right.
And they also were in a more credible conference in the ACC, even though the Big East was just as good as both those conferences during that time. So people look at name recognition too. And then, of
They do.
course, they probably should have voted for it after the national championship game. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
he gets it in
Yeah.
a heartbeat. But you're right. It's a
Which I've
great
always,
point. Dane was winning Rose Bowls with Wisconsin. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
which I always felt they should do anyway. Just like rankings should not come out in the preseason because God knows, look at Texas and Penn State.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Tech has the week off. They get to kind of, get ready, get healthy. They've been banged up. Everybody gets to watch California, the next opponent, tomorrow night against Bill Belichick and UNC. So there'll be some early scouting. But, a week off coming home. They're playing hard. You feel like they might have a leg up. We'll see what California looks like. I'll be interested in watching them a little bit. I don't know much about California football in 2025.
I watched them a couple of times. They're always on late because they're a West Coast team.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I watched them against Boston College. They're a good team. I mean, they're solid. I mean, I feel like, with the exception of Miami and Georgia Tech, every time I talk about something, I say, yeah, they're a good team. Louisville, they're a good team. It's nobody like, oh my God, they got this, and this. I mean, I just feel like at the end of the day, man, Virginia Tech needs to win a game at home. I mean, you think about it, they have not won a game at home this season. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. They beat Wofford.
Yeah.
But it felt like that was like, they could have emailed that score in.
Correct. They could have.
Yeah, I feel like the fans need to win, the players. I feel like, for the sake of like peace of mind and just some good vibes, and for Monty and his staff, it'd be good to get a win. I know those guys have worked hard. I can't relate to all the changes they've gone through. And this is why I said, back to my original theme of this segment today, I really regret that many of these guys that have walked through Lane Stadium in the last several years have not really received certainty or understood the benefit of having a cohesive unit, from your administration on down. Like, so many changes, so much turnover. But I mean, as Michael Jackson once said, we're not alone. You look at a lot of teams. That's why I said this is a different game now. I mean, listen, Florida State right now, they've lost 8 straight ACC games, conference games going back to last year. They're on the hot seat. They were crying about not making the playoff, which they got screwed. They followed that up with a 2-10 season, come back, beat Alabama. I'm like, oh man, Florida State looks great. And then they beat 2 teams, that barely had a pulse. And then they go down to Charlottesville, which I saw that coming. UVA smacked them, which now you're starting to wonder how big was that win. At the time, it was a great win.
Yeah.
And they look disinterested. They do
They do.
not look good. And these kids now, I'm gonna say this because I got a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 15-year-old, and I work with kids, as everyone knows, athletes or non-athletes. Their attention span is like a TikTok video.
It
So
is.
you lose the locker room now, unless you got some strong alpha male leaders, they will check out. They'll get on that phone I held up. They'll start texting us, hey man, what's going on? That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna talk to
That's
their
right.
boys at other schools. You lose one more game, they're gonna check out. Because here's the thing, and this is kind of controversial, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What motivates these players, Rick, when they're already getting thousands of dollars?
I know. It's factual. I know.
If we lose 31-17, I may pretend we just didn't execute, man. We just got to fight harder. And then I get off the presser and I'm like, all right, man, let me check my direct deposit. I'm good.
That's it. No,
I mean, they're good.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. We see it in the NFL a lot when guys get that next contract, and it's something the college games got to evolve to. It's a big, big factor. And we see Mike Burnop talking about it all the time. He's mentioned it. He thinks a lot of those guys early were doing that. You can watch games. You can tell the teams that are just happy that the guys they paid for are getting their checks. You can see it. It shows up.
And this is one reason why when people say, hey, Dwight, who you got Sunday? I'm like, I don't care. They're like, you don't have a team? I used to be a diehard Redskin fan. When Snyder, who was the face of this money-hungry business, when he came over, I checked out. I stopped. And then you see the guys switch here, the money, and then same thing with the NBA. I mean, baseball. I love the games. I watch MLB, I watch NBA, but I took the emotional connection away from it. I had to protect my own peace of mind and integrity because think about what a great job you do. I'm proud to be part of the Big Dog Sports Network. I'm proud to be part of you get your guests together. You do all these great things for the love of bringing this information to your fan base. You do this because you love it and you care, right? And you care about Southwest Virginia and beyond, right? We got so many people now that don't care, which is why there's all this greed involved, which is why I remember after we lost to Temple, it was considered at the time and still one of the biggest upsets in college football history. We were ranked 14th in the nation in my senior year in 1988. We were 20-something point favorites. We were up 17-0. We were destroying them. I even told my backup to get ready, Matt Lair, who played for the Cowboys. And we lost that game 28-24. It was a homecoming game. We're at home. Temple had lost over 37 straight games. And I sat on the bleacher or whatever, the bench on the sideline after the game for 30 minutes. Lamont Pegues, a transfer from Clemson, was sitting beside me. There's a picture, I'll post it. I sat there in disbelief, teary-eyed. It was my senior year, and we were ranked 14th in the nation. We were undefeated at the time. So if you think about how much that hurt, I wasn't getting paid. I was a student athlete. I was not making any money.
That's right.
20-something years later, that loss still hurts, right? I don't know if it hurts these guys when they lose to Wake Forest.
Agreed.
I mean, how can it? I mean, I got a Hellcat.
That's right. No, that's right, man. I know.
Yeah. I know. I'm not, and for those watching, I'm not generalizing all.
No.
It's just that I think there's a contingency across the country of kids that, and even some coaches who are like, well, at least I'm getting paid. So anyway, man, but for those that are doing it for the right reasons, and I think they should get paid, but I just feel like the people that, like the guy you just had on that does it for the love, I think that's what's missing right now. There's a decency of humanity that needs to come back to the forefront along with the business of collegiate sports. You can have integrity and you can be humble and you can be confident and you can be loyal and still make a lot of money. There's a balance to it. You and I are living proof, Rick.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. Well said. Well said.
Yep.
Well, listen, brother, enjoy your weekend. And I just want to tell you, I'm always honored to have you on. I can't imagine doing the show without you. So it means a whole lot that I can be able to talk to you every week. I learn something new every time.
Me too, man. And thank you for that Selma Hayek pick. Let me make my wife's not around. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll forward it to you if you'd like. Maybe get you in trouble. Yeah. Anytime.
You, man. Yeah.
All right, brother. You too, man. Have a great weekend. All right. We'll talk again next week.
Yes, sir.
Dwight Vick, the great Dwight Vick. Good stuff. Yeah, everybody in chat, well said. Yeah, he's the best. And he's right. He's right. So we talk about evaluation, just to follow what Dwight said real quick. Evaluation means, yes, you got to find talent out of the portal. Evaluate the guys you're going to come there once they're getting paid and still be the guy you watched on film. That's part of the evaluation, and that's what Brent Pry did not do well. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to our guests. I did hear from Andy Bitter. He apologizes. He's got his daughter at home today, and she needed him. So, hey, family all the time over being on the show. No worries, AB. We'll do it again next week. So he sends his apologies to everybody. He doesn't have to apologize. He's got his daughter. So he'll be with us next week. Tomorrow, the Finally Friday edition, we'll have Will Stewart, Mike Ashley, Jen, and our picks. Remember to send them to her so she's not mad at me. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Great stuff today. David Mabry, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun, man. People were locked in, and Dwight Vick always. Geez Louise, so good, so good. Thanks to everybody. And again, please subscribe, like, and share. It's the only way to get the word out. We're getting so close to 600. Again, if one of you subscribe, gets one person you know to subscribe, we're there at 1,000 in a heartbeat. So please continue to promote what we're doing. Need you. Sponsors, give me a call. I work with your budget. Anybody out there? The views, we're crushing the views. We're killing all the metrics for a relatively new show now, about 2 months in on YouTube. Just got to get the subscription base up, but it's great. And I know our sponsors are seeing a lot of results from being on. Thanks, everybody. Great Thursday. You got NFL tonight. I think Steelers and Bengals. I think it's Tulsa, East Carolina, the college game, baseball playoffs. And enjoy. We'll have the 4th and Goal show. We'll have Sports and More returns this week with David Smith up on the channel as well. We'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. Thank you for making the day better. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. God bless. Stay safe. We'll see you.